In today's episode, I'm talking about why so many people struggle to figure out what they're uniquely great at. They keep looking for some brand new passion or hidden talent when the clues have been sitting right in front of them for years. I'm going to show you a simple way to uncover your real superpower by looking backward instead of looking forward. The patterns in your life reveal strengths that you probably don't even realize you have. I'll break down real examples from family traditions that expose your core values to career moments that reveal natural abilities you've been developing for decades without even thinking about them. And by the end of this episode, you'll have a practical exercise to connect the dots in your own life, identify your unfair advantage, and walk away with a king move so you can build a business that's aligned with who you already are. Welcome to King Moves. In chess, the king moves one step at a time, but that single move can change everything. Each week, we explore mindset shifts and simple actions that could lead to the next breakthrough in your business and life. I'm your co-host, Ethan King, from Atlanta, Georgia, USA, entrepreneur, TEDx speaker, and best-selling author of Wealth Beyond Money.
And I'm your co-host, Justin King, no relation to Ethan, from Cape Town, South Africa, entrepreneur, speaker, and business growth strategist. Our journey crosses continents and cultures as we think out loud, challenge assumptions, and uncover the small moves that create big momentum. Welcome to King Moves. Let's start the conversation.
Some photos popped up on my feed from 10 years ago from a family vacation that we took in Costa Rica. My kids were little, and guess what we were doing? We were riding roller coasters at some random amusement park that we stumbled across in Costa Rica. Fast forward to last week, we just got back from Cedar Point, which is one of the top amusement parks in the world. They have some of the best roller coasters in the world. And there we were again, riding them back to back. Of course, my kids are a lot bigger now and they can ride everything and the coasters are way more advanced. But when you zoom out and look at the picture, we were doing the exact same thing we were doing a decade ago. And that's not a coincidence. That's alignment. That's what's authentically important to our family fun. Now, I'm not saying that everybody should be into roller coasters. That's not the point. The point is that this has been a consistent thread for us for over 10 years. And you can really only see that looking backwards. Steve Jobs said it best in his famous Stanford commencement speech. You can only connect the dots looking backwards. And I think that's true for your values too. So here's what I want you to do. Ask yourself, what are your personal values? What do you say is important to you? And then go look at your actual calendar. Look at how you're spending your time. Look at your bank account. Look at your credit card statements. How are you actually spending your money? That will tell you where your values really are. So I'm not preaching to you. This isn't about right or wrong. And what's important to you may not be important to me and vice versa. But I do think it's important to be honest with yourself. Be self-aware. Be congruent. Make sure what you say is important to you that actually matches up with what you're spending your time and your money on, because that's what's really important. Now, here's another dot that I connected looking backwards. I've always had a knack for taking things that most people think are difficult or complex and finding the simplest, easiest approach. Let me give you an example. So about 24 years ago, I had a job at a newspaper. I was the last line of defense before the paper went to press. Now, my job was to make sure everything was error-free and ready to print. When I got hired, they told me I'd be working past midnight on the deadline nights. And the guy I was replacing, he said he was at the printing press late almost every week. And he told me, be prepared to sacrifice your Wednesday nights because people will be slow turning things in and there were going to be errors everywhere. And that's just how it was. And I thought to myself, dude, that might be your situation, but that's not going to be my situation. Because on day one, I could already see all of these opportunities for efficiency. And I'm not saying that to sound arrogant. It's just something I've always been able to do. I guess it's kind of a superpower. But I can only see that now looking back. When I took that role, I was done and home before 8 p.m., even though the paper was paying me to be there past midnight. because that's what everybody before me was doing. It was taking them that long. But it's not because I was cutting corners that I got the job done early. I actually did the job better and I did it faster. The paper went out with 0 errors and it was top quality. I just figured out all of these little micro efficiencies very quickly, using keyboard shortcuts to paginate faster, implementing checks and balances so people could catch their own mistakes, giving salespeople earlier deadlines to get their ads in. Just small things that stacked up to make the whole process better, faster, and higher quality. And now I'm doing the same thing with AI. I go into companies and I can spend one day with your team and spot so many efficiencies, things you can't see because, as the saying goes, you can't read the label when you're inside the bottle. But me, as an outsider with knowledge of AI and automation and this lifelong hack for finding simplicity, I can look at how your team is working today and cut the time in half. I can help your people do their jobs better in a fraction of the time, which means you can do more with the team and with the resources that you already have. So a few times a month, I run these OpenClaw classes where I walk people through building their own OpenClaw and Hermes agents. And for some people, it's pretty straightforward, but for others, it can feel a bit complicated and they don't want to get it wrong because there are real security concerns. So I hold your hand through it. We walk through it together. We build your agents live, online, on Zoom, on your computer. And by the end of the class, you're done. You have digital employees working for your business that act like real human employees. And we don't just build them and hand them over to you. We actually connect them to your systems securely. We train them. We give them real practical things to do in your business and offer support after that. And it changes people's lives. I've helped dozens of people do this, non-tech people, daycare center owners, ticket brokers, insurance professionals. We just had a company that's into real estate investing, all types of businesses and sectors, because every business can use more hands, but most of us don't have the budget to just go hire a bunch of new people. But this is the power that's at your fingertips right now, and you don't have to be a coder to do it. So if you're interested in that, you can check it out at youropenclawstrategy.com. And the reason it's at the domain is because Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, when OpenClaw first came out, he famously said that OpenClaw is probably the most important software release ever, and that every single business should have an OpenClaw strategy. I'm giving you that opportunity. Most people have no idea what's possible right now, and you can have such a head start over your competition. It's so easy. I was in roller coaster lines last week, and my agents, my AI agents, were closing deals for me. All I was doing was checking in with a few text messages, and they were handling my emails, responding to people, and actually chasing down contracts and closing them. I didn't even put up an out of office message, even though I was on vacation for 10 days. I didn't need one because my agents were actually handling things for me and keeping communications going. That's the type of power you have, and you can have it without adding to your payroll at all. So I'm not trying to pitch you on this. You don't have to go through me. I'm just passionate about helping people do this. But if you're interested in checking that out, go to youropenclawstrategy.com and jump into the next class. Now, they do fill up fast because I keep the classes very small on purpose so that everyone gets the attention they need. But it's not a lecture. We're actually building real agents for you in real time for your business. We're helping you build your AI org chart. You're actually building AI employees that work alongside your human team members. And if you don't have human team members, then you are building out your staff. Now, if you go to youropenclawstrategy.com and the next class is full, you can just join the wait list because we do sometimes move things around and there may be an opening and I can get you in. If not, once you're on the wait list, you'll get notice of the next class after that. Now, I don't know how long I'll be doing this, so definitely jump in. But I will tell you this. Having agents like this, it'll be normal soon. I don't know how many years we are out from that, but it will be normal just like the internet is normal to everyone right now. Everybody uses it. But there was a time when you could be on the cutting edge just by getting online before your competitors got online. I remember when we were showing up at the top of Google. This is with my company, Stuff for Greeks, my first company. So back in the early 2000s, when Google was new, our competitors in the embroidery space, they were still advertising in the yellow pages. They were holding on to old media. Meanwhile, we had a website, we had e-commerce, and we were getting orders from people all across the country while most of our competitors were stuck in the old way of doing things. So don't get stuck in the old way. Don't resist what's new. In fact, do the opposite. Lean into what's new, because that's how you stay on the cutting edge. And that's how you gain an unfair advantage in the marketplace. Now, this is just a quick solo episode. Justin's busy this week, and I think this is a good time. It's summertime, so we can look back and connect the dots. I connected the dots with my personal values by looking at how riding roller coasters with my family 10 years ago and all throughout. I've also connected the dots with my business values, my superpowers, helping people simplify their systems today. It's the same thing I was doing over 20 years ago as an employee at a newspaper, and it's been a through line in my whole life. So here's my challenge for you. Take an inventory, look backwards, flip through some old photos. Maybe ask yourself, what was I doing 10 years ago, 20 years ago that I'm still doing today? Maybe there's a through line there. Maybe you can discover a superpower that you didn't even know you had. So here's your king move. This week, I want you to spend 30 minutes looking backward instead of forward. Maybe scroll back through your calendar. Think about jobs you've had, hobbies you've loved, maybe problems people have always asked you to solve or asked you questions about. And then write down one thing that's been true about you for the past 10 years or more. Now, that's probably not a coincidence. That's probably, or it could be, your superpower. So ask yourself one final question. How can I use AI to amplify my natural superpower? That's your king move. Now make your next move your best move, and I'll see you next week. That's a wrap for today's episode of King Moves. Quick favor before we go. If this episode made you think differently or helped you see your next move more clearly, take 30 seconds and leave us a review. It helps the show reach leaders who need these conversations. Remember, in chess, like in business, one right move can change everything.
Take today's action step, make your move, and build momentum. And if you found value in today's episode, share it with someone who's ready for the next breakthrough. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss our weekly conversations.
Until next time.